Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and to our coffee times together. So today I just wanted to quickly sit down here to let you know about some of my favorite Netflix horror movies.
It's coffee time!
So in the last years, Netflix has been coming up with more and more horror movies, which I appreciate, and some of them were pretty good and other ones not that great. So I decided to make two videos. This is the first one. First, I'm just gonna bring you the good side. I'm gonna tell you about 10 Netflix movies that were horror and that I absolutely loved. So let's start. I decided to make this list just chronologically, so I'm gonna start with the older ones and end with the newest ones. So the first one that I would like to mention in this list is I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House from 2016. This is an American-Canadian story about a live-in nurse that just moves into this old woman's house, an elderly woman that used to be an author, and while she's in the house she realizes that this house is haunted. It is fantastic. I think it has fantastic atmosphere. I really enjoyed the movie. It might not be for everybody, but I think it's a little bit underrated. So if you were considering if you wanted to give it a try or not, I advise you to give it a try. The next one that is also from 2016, I'm not 100% sure if this was only a Netflix exclusive, but at least here in Germany it was released as a Netflix exclusive, and that is The Bad Batch. Now this one has very well-known actors like, you know, Keanu Reeves and Jason Momoa. Also Jim Carrey is in the movie, and I just thought it was such a good movie. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just enjoyed it so much. I think this movie has a really cool concept. So we are kind of in like a post-apocalyptic world, and there is only this little settlement of survivors, so to say, and they live in this little settlement, and they try to make some walls around it, and outside it's basically wildlife. It's just desert, and there are cannibals out there that will go and hunt you down to eat you. And I just thought it was great, and the character from Jason Momoa is fantastic, and also Suki Waterhouse character is great. I just really love this movie, and yeah, if you have not watched it, give it a try. Moving on to 2017, we have The Ritual, that is based on a book by the same name by Adam Neville, and this movie was so great. It really surprised me because it was different. It was nothing like I expected. It is this group of friends that after one of the friends of the group has died, they decide to just go on a trip together to the mountains to kind of, you know, reconnect and kind of move on. But while in the woods, they kind of lose track of the path that they were supposed to follow, and they end up making a very dark discovery. Next, from 2017, we have Geralds Game, and this is based on a novel by Stephen King, and it is a very kind of disturbing scenario. It's this couple that go into this isolated cabin just to have a, you know, romantic weekend, and while they are having sexual intercourse, the husband handcuffs the wife to the bed, and while they are doing it, he suffers a heart attack, and so the woman is left there handcuffed to the bed with her inner demons. Another great exploration of, you know, humanity and our brains, and I just loved the book, and I really think that Netflix did an amazing job adapting it. The next one from the same year is The Babysitter. I really like this movie. This is a black comedy, a horror comedy that really worked for me, and this is the first movie that I really noticed Samara Weaving, that I later saw on Ready or Not, and I think she's a very promising actress. I really like her, and in this movie she plays the role of a babysitter, and while she goes to babysit this kid and the kids go to bed, you realize that she's involved in some sort of like satanic cult or something like that, and the kid wakes up and sees her, and it's kind of like a very bloody fun comedy. In 2018, I only found one that was really great, and I wanted to put in this list, but that is one of my absolute favorite horror movies of the last decade as well, and one of my favorite horror Netflix exclusives, and that is Apostille. This is a period horror movie, and we're in the 1900s. We're following the story of Thomas, and he hears that his sister is being kept captive in an island by some cult or something, and so he decides to go there and investigate. And when he gets to this island, he realizes that there are way darker secrets in there than he expected, and he gets himself mixed in a lot of trouble. It is a fantastic movie. I absolutely loved it. So if you like movies that are a little bit different and unexpected and a little bit of a mindfuck, I think you will enjoy this one. And we have made it to 2019, and the first one here is Eli. I actually want to rewatch this movie because I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one of those movies that once you watch it the second time you get another perspective on the movie, and I really enjoy those. A lot of people didn't enjoy this movie so much because it's a little bit slow paced, but I don't have anything against the slow paced movies as long as I'm invested and I'm enjoying the story. And we're following a kid called Eli that has this disease that he needs to be in this kind of bubble because the regular air is poisonous for him. So the parents are really desperate and they don't know what to do, so they find this kind of place where they can bring him to get cured, and it is basically the story of how they get there and they start the treatment on the kid to try to cure his illness. And it is fantastic, unexpected again, and it gets really like disturbing and creepy, and I think it is a fantastic movie again that I don't see many people talking about, and I think it deserves more praise. Then we have The Perfection. This was another movie that left me like, what the F? Especially that ending. If you watch that movie, you know what I'm talking about. That ending was superb. It was fantastic, and this is kind of like a thriller, psychological thriller horror movie, and we're following the story of this music prodigy that she goes to this school, and there is this other girl that is also very good, and they kind of start a little rivalry, but then she decides that it's just best to befriend her, but weird things start to happen around them, and it all leads to a deeper, darker secret in this music institution, and it is nothing like you would expect to see. They kept the trailer also very vague, so that's why I also don't want to give you too many details, but it is definitely one to watch. Then we have In the Tall Grass, and this was an adaptation from a Stephen King and Joe Hill novella, and even though the movie did not keep the same ending as the book, which is something that I was a little bit bitter about, I thought that they did a great job adapting a short novella into a, you know, full-length movie, and they included things that were really disturbing in the novella that I didn't know if they were going to push it that far, and they did, so I was really pleased with that. And not for everybody, but it's kind of like horror and supernatural and weird, you know, all of these things mixed in one. We're following the story of a brother and a sister, and they're driving through the highway, and they decide to make a little stop, and they hear this kid that is calling for help, and the voice is coming from inside this tall grass, and they make the mistake to go and investigate. Like, why would you do that? And so they get trapped in the tall grass and realize too late that once you are in, there's no way out. And for the last pick, I left a movie that's going to be really controversial because I know a lot of people were disappointed or really disliked this movie, but I really enjoyed it, and that is The Silence, starring Kiernan Shipka, that plays Sabrina in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, whom I adore, and Stanley Tucci, whom we adore. And it is about these post-apocalyptic scenario, like one day just the apocalypse starts, like the world just comes tumbling down, and there is these creatures that come, and they are blind, but they're very good at hearing, so you're supposed not to make any sounds. And one of the interesting things also about this story is one of the main characters, the girl played by Kiernan Shipka, she is deaf. So I really enjoyed it. You know, the creatures might not be the best effects or the best anything you've ever seen, but I thought they were super cute. I was all the time invested. I was having a good time. I thought it was entertaining. I really liked the atmosphere. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So it might have been just me. But I wanted to include it in this list because for me, it was a really entertaining movie. And these were 10 of my favorite Netflix exclusive horror movies. Let me know down below, have you watched any of these movies? Are there any other ones that you think should be in this top 10? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you leave, if you're new here, make sure to click on the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more coffee times with me. If you want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagrams, the links are down below. And I'll see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!